There are two kinds of people in this world. Either you're doing things you know you shouldn't, or you're not doing things you know you should. Guess what? We're both. Hi, I'm Marcy Barker, life and business coach, aka your loving kick in the pants. This podcast is here to help you become accountable with aligned action and become boss-minded while growing a business without sacrificing what matters most. Let's dive in. Good morning, my beautiful people. All right, it's time for another week of your loving kick in the pants. And today I want to talk about a post that I did pretty well, and I want to give a little bit more context to it because I have struggled with this in the past, signing up for things or buying things because you're excited or you're hopeful that it's going to work, and then it doesn't turn out to be the best experience, and then you're like, I kind of regret doing this, and then you get a little bit resentful, and then the little part of your heart just hardens up. Okay. Let me just start by reading the post and then we will dive into it. So I made this a couple weeks ago. I said, if you feel like everyone is trying to sell you, here's what I recommend. One of the best ways to not be taken advantage of or buy things you don't need is to be actively solving your own problems. If you're actively working on solving your problems, then opportunities that arise won't feel like someone is trying to sell you. You'll be able to look at it from the lens of, does this support what I'm doing? Or that's a complete distraction to what I'm already doing. Sitting around feeling like a victim is not going to get you there. If you have that attitude, it can actually push away the right solution from coming your way. God, the universe, those who love you all want you to succeed. When you are on the pathway, the solution will become more familiar. Now, like I said, I've dealt with this in the past where I just kind of did something because I was tired of things not working out. So something was presented to me and I was like, sure, let's try that. And raise your hand if you've been one of those people that you're like, it must be a sign this person showed up at the perfect time. I used to believe that in certain circumstances, and then I got knocked upside my head way too many times, and I was like, you know what, maybe this wasn't a sign for me. Maybe I just was not in tune with what I needed to do, so I was willing to listen to whoever or whatever. If you feel this way, I want you to know you're not alone. There's so many people who are just not in tune with what they're doing that it's really easy to just attach to somebody else thinking that they have the solutions for you. But when it comes to accountability, it's very important. Like I've given you guys a whole framework on how to know if things are right for you. So let's just do a quick recap of the accountability code because it's actually been a while since we did that. But the very first step of the accountability code is reflection. So reflection is thinking on your goals and your values and your problems. And a lot of us think about our problems all of the time, but rarely do we take the time to formulate a solution. Sometimes it's just, I have problems, woe is me. I wish they weren't my problems and I wish they would go away. But reflection not only includes the struggles that you're dealing with, but it also means tapping in to what you actually want for your life and a possible solution to get there. Okay. So reflection, that's the very first step. It ties in with the second step, which is humility. So humility is a modest view of who you are now related to who you can be. So practicing humility is your ability to say, you know what, there's a piece of my understanding that's not there, which is why I'm struggling with this problem. So when you pair reflection with humility, it puts a very kind and loving spin on your solutions. And if you go into solution mode with this understanding, then when somebody comes into your space and they're like, I have a solution, I can do this, this, and this, and this, you have to be able to have the discernment of, is this actually the best solution for me? Or is this person just trying to make a sale? Is this person trying to convince me that I should do their thing, when in reality, it just benefits them more than it would benefit me? So reflection, humility, those are really important first steps when it comes to solving your problems and finding the correct solution, okay? The third step of the accountability code is planning. Planning is a detailed proposal for achieving success. So again, sometimes people are so quick to start implementing. They just want to take action right away without really taking a step back and saying, how does this potential solution fit into my long-term goals? And with somebody, you guys, I did 2 podcasts, I don't know, it's been a while, where One, you might be waking up too much, which is mean you think and think and think and you don't take action. And then the opposite end of the spectrum is you take a lot of action without doing the proper waking up. You're showing up a lot, but not adequately waking up. So when somebody presents a solution to you, or they're trying to sell you a program or a product or whatever, it can be really easy to jump on it. But the very best action you can take includes thinking about that proposal for achieving success, because very rarely does somebody come to you with every single piece of the puzzle. Like, they might have one thing. Like, take for instance, social media marketing. Okay, this is a really popular one because a lot of people feel the need to show up on social media, and they will go and hire somebody to do it, thinking that social media is going to bring them in a lot of sales. But what they have failed to do is to prove their own concept first. Like, they haven't made sales on social media, so it's really not going to be that profitable for them to pay other people to make sales on social media, because how is a social media marketing company supposed to make you sales if you can't even make yourself sales? So the company might be like, no, we help people go from $0 to making 10K a month. It's like, okay, that's a pretty hefty solution, but guess what? It's not going to be cheap. So in the order of reflection, humility, and planning is a very important step that you have to sit back and think, okay, again, is this something that's going to support me, or is this actually a distraction because it's only one piece of the puzzle, or it's one piece that's not directly related to the problem that I'm having? So I want you to just think back to this post. If you feel like, man, everybody's just trying to sell me something, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that, you're lacking your ability to sit down and start with the most basic and fundamental steps of being able to follow through. But if any of this is resonating with you, then good job, we're on the right path, because you are taking some time to make some changes in the way that you operate. And trust me, I've had to make some big changes in the way I operate, which is why, it's kind of sad to say, but this is why I don't trust a lot of people in the same way that I used to, is because guess what? I'm smarter. I'm smarter with my own solutions. I'm smarter with my own plan. I'm smarter with my own reflection. I'm smarter with my own true practice of humility. Like, as all of those things deepen, your decision making will become better. I promise you, you'll make a lot less mistakes because you won't be trusting in the wrong sources for you. Okay. So let's continue this with the second half of the accountability code, which is showing up. This is implementing commitment and feedback. Now, if I feel like everybody's selling me and there's so many options and I'm kind of stuck with these problems, if I think about implementing, which is putting into use your desired skills or values, again, let's go back to social media marketing. If you were already implementing things that you know you should, then your need for social media marketing is going to go down. But a lot of times people want to hire out or pay for a solution to do the work that they're just not willing to do. Now, there's a difference between outsourcing something because it's not your strength and paying somebody to do something that you're not willing to learn. There's a total big difference. And I will be honest, I have paid people for that before. Hey, my beautiful people. If you're loving these episodes, you'll want the full experience. I've bundled both of my books, The Accountability Code and Becoming Boss Minded, into one powerful package. You'll get instant access to the audiobooks and ebooks so you can learn and grow anytime, anywhere. Head to bossminded.com and grab the book bundle now. It's the perfect way to stay inspired between episodes. All right, let's dive back in. In the past, Aubrey and I, we were working on a project. This is a perfect example, so I'm going to dive right into it. Okay, so I have this group, and I guess I'll tell you what the name is. It's called ManyChat Help Group. If you've heard of ManyChat, it's huge. It grew really fast, and then I feel like nobody heard about it, and now they're making a comeback. Years ago, we're talking like 7 or 8 years ago, I was one of the first people using ManyChat, whenever this was. I don't know exactly how many years. But I started that Facebook group because I wanted to learn it. That's all. I just wanted help as I learned it. And throughout that group, I had somebody message me and they're like, your group is huge. There's like over 15,000 people in it. And there's been a lot of people in it for a really long time. And this person said, hey, I can help you. We can utilize this group. You can make some money. We can make some money. And I was like, that's great. And I had somebody message me and they say, we want to use you as a case study. So if we can use your group and we can build your business, this is going to be really great. And I talked to Aubrey and I was like, you know what? We have this group. It's gaining traction. Like if we can get somebody to build our whole systems for us, I think that would be great. So we start working on it. And I'm not the techie person, at least that long ago. I didn't enjoy it at all. I still do quite a bit. But this person said, okay, we're going to go build this whole campaign. And I was like, that's great. Totally fine. While you guys build that, I'm going to go over and make money in this way because this way's working. And I don't want to stop making money to build this project. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make some money and you guys can build this and you let me know when it's ready. And let me set the boundary. Do not bother me over here. Do not mess with what's working because it's working. So I was busy already implementing what was working, and on the flip side I was hiring somebody to implement something I did not want to implement. And also Aubrey wanted the direction of somebody to tell him what to do. So it worked in a couple different ways. And then this is when I recognized, okay, so they're taking a long time building it, this other person that we worked with, and I'm over here making money and I'm all happy. And this person over here is like, hey, if you're making money, we need to optimize this thing. And I was like, please leave me alone. Remember the initial agreement? You guys, if you're not watching the video, you guys, my hands are up like karate chopping, because this is the kind of attitude I had for a long time of like, leave me alone. I told you to leave me alone because over here is what's working for me. And you promised that you would do that thing over there. So just do that thing over there. It turned into a massive mess. Absolute mess, because this person was like, you don't value me, blah, and I was like, no, bro, I said leave me alone over here. Remember that? So I'm being really vague, but when it came to implementing, I had somebody come and approach me with a solution that it's not really what I was looking for. It was, I wanted a little bit of help while I was learning, but I did not want to overhaul my whole business. I did not want to take away the parts that were already well oiled and working. So implementing, there was a portion of my business that we were lacking in implementing, which is why we accepted to do this collaboration in the first place. That was a big mistake on my part, because I want you guys to know too, in your own business life, you can probably recognize points where you're like, I'm going to hire this person to do something, and then it doesn't work out and you're like, I should have just done it myself. This is one of the things that you can do to look at your own process before you just start paying people to do stuff. Okay. And this is where accountability comes into place, is because a lot of times you cannot pay people to do the things that you should be learning in order for you to be successful in your business. You can't really skip a whole lot of steps, because then you don't actually become the kind of person that can sustain the success that you might get. Okay. Next step of the accountability code is commitment. So commitment is dedicating yourself to a person or a cause. Now, if let's say that I had the wisdom back then to reject this person's idea of like, hey, I can help you do all this and this. If I was committed to learning ManyChat like I intended to in the first place, I would have been able to say, no, thank you. I'm committed to learning this so that I can use it in my business going forward. And at the beginning, sometimes partnerships sound like they're going to work out. They sound like they are the perfect solution. They sound like they are going to support you in your commitments. But a lot of times, if you're not careful, they can take you away from the most important commitments that you made. And in my case, it took me away because I wasn't actually learning anything. I handed it over to somebody else, for a lot of different reasons in my business. So I essentially was sold something that did not get the results, and I worked with the wrong people. So going back to this post, if you feel like everyone is trying to sell you something, that's also an attitude of like, everybody's trying to come at me. If you have time to think that over and over and over again, it's because you're not actively engaged in what you're building. Sometimes it's hard to say. Sometimes it's even hard to repeat, because there have been plenty of times in my business life that I'm like, oh yeah, had I just done the things I said I was going to do, then I wouldn't even have time to entertain this conversation. And here's another example, a real life example. I just made a post in a local group, and I said, I'm looking for a cleaner who can come to my house a couple times a week. And I said, do not message me if you don't have a website, if you don't have reviews, and if your prices are so low, you're just hoping to make it up with a good tip. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. And guess what? I have people messaging me who are like, I do great at cleaning houses. I have this many people. And I'm like, do you have an LLC set up? And they're like, no. Do you have a website? No. And I'm like, okay, I have to remember, do not go against my initial boundaries and solution. Like, I need to stay committed to doing the things that I want in my business and then only hiring out the things that I actually need with cleaning. I don't want those lines to be blurred because then it just gets really messy. So again, if I feel like everybody's trying to sell me something, I need to remember those boundaries of, like I said, do not message me if you don't have a website. Thank you. Have a good day. And I already was a little worried that I would get eaten alive with my post of being very direct of like, please don't message me unless this. I even had somebody, I said, I don't want to work with people if you're going to cancel on me less than 24 hours, or if you're going to make me wait forever, or if you're going to take forever to collect payment from me, because I don't want to work with companies who do that. And I even had people in the comments say, oh, work with this company. And I straight up said in the comments, I've already worked with them and it was not a great experience. And another person was like, oh, we would be happy to have your business. We do this, this, and this. And I straight up was like, you're one of the companies that I'm talking about. I said, when I worked with your company, I said, are these all new things that you've implemented? Because when I worked with you, you canceled on me and you postponed and you waited months before asking me for payment. And, sure enough, she said, no, all of these things have been improved. Our business is going through growing pains. And it's like, okay, I have to decide once again, do I deal with that or do I stay super focused on what I was asking for? Because I don't want to work with a cleaning company where I got to text them 10 times the day of my appointment. I don't want to do that. So if we can utilize the process of the accountability code, we're going to be really focused on our goals and we are going to recognize distractions and not even entertain them, which is a beautiful place to be. The last step of the accountability code is feedback. So feedback is information used as a basis for improvement. So if I'm going through this whole process, we'll use the cleaning example again. Somebody messaged me and she was like, I totally know what this feels like. Who did you end up going with? And I'm like, I haven't figured it out yet. But when the feedback that I want is like, I've already worked with cleaning companies who were less than professional, so I don't want to do that again. So in order for me to move forward and not waste my time, I got to keep this process of the accountability code guiding my action steps. Because honestly, one of the reasons I said I don't want companies with so low prices that they are trying to get a nice tip for it, I would rather pay a premium price for consistency and communication. And honestly, I don't want to have to guess in my mind how much to tip everybody. I just want them to have good prices where they are going to do the work that they agreed upon. So when it comes to feeling like you're being sold, or you feel like you have engaged in things or products or services that haven't actually helped you, I promise you, utilizing the accountability code is going to help you improve. Not only does it help you improve, but it's going to put you in the mindset more often of everything is working together for me. Everything is coming together because I'm clear on what I want and I'm not entertaining things that are going to get me off track. So I hope that this week, as you listen to this episode, you're loving Kicking the Pants, that you do revisit the accountability code and you do revisit these challenges in your life that maybe you're having a few extra distractions bombard you. Ask yourself why that is and see what boundaries you need to restore in order for you to move forward in a more effective way. And of course, we want follow through to be easy and peaceful. So there's nothing worse than getting a lot of good momentum on your goal only to feel like people are coming at you with different solutions. When you're very focused, not only is it more enjoyable, but you get more results. So let me know if you guys have any podcast topics. You guys can go to bossminded.com, put a podcast topic in the box, and I'll be happy to do a whole podcast on that topic for you. But until next week, we'll see you, and I hope you enjoy your Loving Kicking the Pants. Thanks for tuning in, friend. If this episode gave you value, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone in your circle who's ready to wake up, show up, and grow their business without sacrificing what matters most. When you do, you're not just helping them, you're building your network of like-minded leaders. And I'll say this plainly, leaving a kind review matters more than you know. It helps more people find the show and it keeps the momentum going. So pause for a moment and please drop that review. Lastly, if there's a topic you want me to cover, I want to hear from you. Reach out because this podcast is for you and I'm here to serve. Until next time, stay boss-minded.